and welcome back to this channel. I'm the Spellsinger and this is my ongoing review of the Fighting Fantasy Gamebook series. And in this review I'm going to give you a quick look at the book and title number. We'll have a read of the blurb, talk about the plot, check out the game mechanics and the adventure sheet, and I'll run the artwork through this video so you can have a look at that. And then I'll talk a little bit about my likes and dislikes, check out any fun facts I might have, any errors worth mentioning, and then we'll finish on a summary and score out of 10. Now this book is number 23 and it's Masks of Mayhem. And this one was written by Robin Waterfield, who did 4 books in the series, this being his second and the first one being the Rebel Planet book that we reviewed a way back. This came out in 1986. And John Civic did this cover, real nice cover that John has provided here. One of the Golems actually from the story. And the internal artwork is by Russ Nicholson. So good old Russ is back after a little bit of time away. And as usual, the artwork in this is spectacular. So yeah, Russ Nicholson back and John Civic with the front cover. Let's read the blurb. So my copy is suitably battered. So in this one, we've got: the safety of the earth is in your hands. Morgana, the fell sorceress of Krill Garnash, is poised to let loose her dreaded golems, which none will be able to resist. For she has equipped them with the Masks of Mayhem, which give them power over all things. Only you can end her evil designs, but beware, peril and treachery awaits you at every turn, and help is hard to find. Yeah, so the plot for this book. So in this one, you play the ruler of the kingdom of Arian, and you're in the continent of Cool, so we're back in Cool, and you're sent on a mission by your court wizard, Tynan. If you know, you know, right? And you're there and you're asked if you can slay the evil sorceress Morgana before she can unleash her 12 dreaded golems upon the kingdom. And unlike many other books in this series, the plot of Masks of Mayhem, it kind of develops as you progress through the book. Many suggestions are made that Morgana is not working alone. And by the end of the book, there's a major twist which is revealed that puts the mission in kind of like a different light, if you like. So your court wizard, Tynan, he informs you that Morgana's sorceress is hooked up into the mountains in the northeast and is collecting all these masks of elemental power and building all these golems, right? She has got 11 of them, and then the 12th one, by then she'll be able to start terrorizing the world. It does make you wonder a bit why the powers of good waited till there were 11 and didn't start earlier, but whatever. So what lies ahead is kind of like a frightening mystery for you, but to you, you've got to face a trek across all these various forests, hills, marshes, all these different plains, rivers, icy mountains, and you'll meet all these characters who can help you with your task. And there are many hidden items, and discovering that you actually have the 12th sigil on your helmet is a nice little touch actually in this adventure game book. So yeah, you have the 12th one built into your helmet, which you can actually see on the cover. You can see the sigil just here on this golem's mask. Yeah, so the whole thing was a lure, a kind of ruse, you know, to bring you into Morgana's lair. So with a traitor added to the mix, who's actually in league with Morgana herself, the adventure has a kind of logical story and is genuinely very well planned and written. Right, let's talk a bit about the game mechanics, and then we'll look at that adventure sheet as well. Standard set of rules really for this book. For the combat, but Robin Waterfield introduces lots of hidden paragraphs by having you turn to sections you have previously been informed of, or by multiplying or adding section numbers to various numbers that you have on items that you've picked up. So some nice little technique here used to sort of stop you cheating, a bit like Steve Jackson did in House of Hell. Now Waterfield also takes the hidden paragraph mechanic here, maybe to the extreme, is that fair to say? As there's lots of these numerical challenges, lots of complex mathematical problems. Remember in Rebel Planet that we reviewed a while back, so his first book, Robin Waterfield's first book, and he had that really tough binary code puzzle. Well, Masks of Mayhem is no different. In all honesty, it's no different with its over-reliance on these kind of math puzzles. And it could almost be the downside, especially at a point in the book where you reach this glade where you find Vashti, and it requires a catalogue of number crunching exercises, which is not for everyone, but I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite a good little mechanic. Different. You could argue this is intended to make cheating harder, but it kind of taking it this far also makes winning exceptionally difficult. This is a tough book. You have to identify who the traitor is, and you get these clues to the traitor's identity. So they're quite subtle, they're almost subliminal in some ways, and you're not told that you need to do anything particular in terms of what sums to do with the relevant character's name, even if you can figure it out. So spoiler alert, the solution to that name, the court wizard, I-49, if you break the name up, the word 40 is in the name, so I-49. Now, most people probably just gave up on it out of frustration, which is a shame because given the general quality of the mechanics in this book are very high. But yes, I-49 hides the secret reference of 40 within his name. So yeah, there you go. But otherwise, the traditional rules are found here with no extra stats, and you start out with standard kind of equipment, your 10 provisions, your sword, a choice of 3 potions, and again you've got to have those high stats. This book does require high skill, stamina, and if you can get it, high luck as well for this adventure. But the adventure sheet is pretty much the same. So standard skill, stamina and luck boxes as always. You've got a box there for your equipment, which is not an item heavy adventure. This one, it's not a shopping list or anything, which is good. You've got one there for your gold as well and your potions. So you get your choice of those classic 3 potions from those early books, skill, strength and luck, or fortune, I think it's called. There's somewhere for your notes to help you with placing all your calculations for when you're doing your puzzles. And then you've got your provisions remaining as well, so your standard 10 provisions. So yeah, no real change with the adventure sheet, and it's perfectly good for this adventure. Artwork. While the story is much the same, the art is fantastic. This marks Russ Nicholson's return after a several year gap, and he delivers some really amazing work. Big fan of his, always have been, and his characters and mist-shrouded landscapes. His illustration of Morgana, the sorceress, is amazing. Nicholson has a special talent in this one, or in general really, for designing wardrobes for all his magicians. And he has he's really excelled himself in this book in particular. Some of his best internal artwork, I think, is on show here. And he mixes the style seen in his early fighting fantasy books with a more darker looking approach in places for this entry, making this a really nice selection of varied artwork. John Sibbick, who did the cover, yeah, equally, he really focuses on one of the Golems in that first picture. So this is one of the Golems here, and it's got a kind of uniqueness to it. This guy only really gets 1 paragraph given to him in the adventure. So he's only in it for a short amount of time, but you get a little description, but of course you've got the front cover, so that really helps visualize him. There's an element of kind of earthiness to the cover image, and the sigil is highlighted on there as well, like I showed you earlier. So it kind of ultimately complements the plot and adds another layer of richness. I've got a favourite picture just here. This is Morgana. And the detail is typical of Russ, really, but it really is striking. You know, you've got this throne in the background and Morgana sort of leaping towards you, and you've got all this amazing detail. And for me, this one really jumps out at you in the way that fighting fantasy artwork really should do. When you compare it to some of the more modern stuff that Scholastic are pumping out at the moment, it doesn't have this modern stuff doesn't have quite the same impact for me as Russ Nicholson does here. Right, my likes and dislikes for this book. So, I don't get on with all the instant deaths in this adventure. There's too many, and no real clue leading up to them, like Steve Jackson used to do. He'd give you like a little hint, maybe a few references before the instant death, just to say like something's not right, be careful. But in this, you just get hit with them, and I counted over. I think it was about 40 instant deaths. So given that there's only 400 references in this book, yeah, you get some through failing your skill or stamina rolls, but the majority seem quite irrational, like wandering off into the mist and never being seen again, or getting eaten by things. And after a while, taking a wrong turn and instantly dying can become a bit tiresome. For me anyway, it is in fact possible to die after your first choice, which is beyond anything. I mean, he's not at Ian Livingstone's level, but he's not far behind. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, so yeah, 3 paragraphs in, you can get killed. I'll give you an example in a second, but yeah, it kind of sets the tone of the rest of the book, really. It is a tough book. But yeah, let me read for a few examples. So, to give you an idea, reference 109, okay? So it just simply says, this happens sort of towards the beginning of the book, west. You go west into the forest, and it says here, night has fallen by the time you have completed your raft. Strangely, when you launch it, no ripples disturb the surface of the lake, and the gibbous moon is not reflected in the dark depths. You have paddled no more than 100 meters when 5 thick tentacles pull you under the water. That's it. You're dead. And that, like I say, is right at the start. You build this raft to cross the lake, and you don't get any further than that. So another one I thought I'd read out is reference 115. So you're at this lake again. Stay away from the lake. Reduce your stamina by 2 points if you have not eaten while in the forest. So remember we said like, it's like a big way of losing your provisions. This is being told to eat all the time. And as much as it is probably good in terms of realism, it does cripple you slightly. The route you are taking shortly offers you a choice between 2 paths. If you take the one which disappears into the trees, go northwest. If you take the one which winds between the trees in the northeast direction, go to 82. Now, if you go west, you go to 263, right? 263. You walk off through the mist which closes behind your back. You are never seen again by man or monster on this earth. Right, the last one I'll give you, right, is reference 345. Now, towards the end of the second act of this book, you go to a place called, it's a big swamp, Marsh Vile, I think it's called. And when you're in there, it's a nightmare. It's like a warren. Anyway, boggy ground soon turns to pools with no more than occasional mounds of earth to support you. There is nothing of interest to be seen. Will you turn back and then head northeast towards Krill Garnash, or will you jump from mound to mound deeper into the marsh? Turn left, right, or straight on. So you get 3 references. Now, only one of those paths will ever be the correct reference. And you've got to do that again and again. As soon as you stray from the path, like, for example, there, if I went left or right, you die. Now, if you were going to play this properly and start again at the beginning of each of those instant deaths, you would be still reading this now from 1986. There you go. There's a few examples anyway. The majority of this book is quite linear, with the emphasis being far too much on collecting items, like essential items, not losing your helmet, of course, because it's got the sigil on it, and having to collect way too many number clues. But those are really my only gripes. The rest of it is strong. The story is the selling point on this one. It's very strong. Some fun facts. This book included the first of 5 collector's bookmarks in late 1986. So they had inserts to certain fighting fantasy related publications. So it wasn't just the game books, it was related publications. So every new book that was published in October and November in 1986 contained one of 5 of these bookmarks. I'll put the image up here so you can see what they look like. But for example, in October, Masks of Mayhem came out. So this book, you got your first one. Titan, the Fighting Fantasy World. So that epic book came out. You had another. And the third one came out in The Riddling Reaver. And then in November, the final 2 came out in Creature of Havoc, which we're going to review next after this one, and Helm's Quest. Now, if you own these, and especially if you own all of them, hold on to them because they are rare and worth quite a bit of money. Yeah, check it out on eBay. If you're into your bookmarks, hold on to them. The colour map, which I'll put up as well, on the inside front cover was by Dave Andrews, and this marked the 3rd time that one of these regular game books would feature a map of the region played during the game book. The first 2 being Forest of Doom and the other one being Seas of Blood. And from this point, maps would continue to sort of show up and appear on and off till the end of the range. And although full colour maps like this one came into an end with Tower of Destruction, I think, they never really helped an awful lot, but it gave you an idea of where you were in Alancia or in Titan. Right, errors. There's not really anything too bad, but a couple of fun ones. There's a mention of, I think it's reference 159, where you get these 3 rocks which magically become 4 rocks in reference 188. So just a continuity thing that made me laugh. King Heather, who you meet halfway through the book, he recognises you as a ruler of Avion in reference 321, but it's possible to reach that section after reference 42, where King Heather has already welcomed you while you're wearing your helmet. So yeah, just a continuity thing. And the big reveal at the end, you're told, another spoiler, you're told that that there was a traitor that you should have known all along, but how you got his name from I-49, how that translates to 40 is anybody's guess really. I looked at it and thought I-49, 149, so I enter reference 149 originally back in 1986, and it made no sense whatsoever. So yeah, so it wasn't until much later when the Titanica website came up that I realised it was just the 40 you had to go to. Let's do a summary and score for this book. It's a bit of a Marmite book, this one. You either love it or you hate it. I really like it. There's so much to the plot as it unravels throughout the adventure that you must give credit to Robin Waterfield for creating such a thorough journey as this one. And it's got to be one of the densest fighting fantasy books that I've come across, certainly up to this point. So what was it again? Book 23? Or was it 22? I can't remember. 23. Yeah, so it's very dense. It's got a lot of story and a lot going on. The book is very decently written, typical fantasy adventure, fantasy romp. And you'll find your way through towards a sorceress's lair. You fight a number of encounters which lead to other encounters. It's pretty good in some ways since there are many important encounters that obviously lead on to others, meaning that there's really only one true path, so you can't stray too far. It's not too hard to find, but it'll take you a number of attempts to get it. It has a number of weaknesses though. The book tends to lose sight of the original plot line, and you can almost forget what you were doing in the first place during the journey, during the adventure. The storyline it can be quite thin at times, and the idea of you, the ruler of Avion, of the city, going off on your own is a bit odd. Don't know if they'd actually let you do that. They'd send some poor sap to go in your place, wouldn't they? The storyline yeah, like I say, is a bit thin at times, but it's still good. The author is, apart from his obsession with these instant deaths, unless you go exactly where he wants you to go, he will either insta-kill you or put you back on the linear path. So like I say, not at Ian Livingstone's level, but not far behind either. As an adventure, the many different environments make for a very varied experience with lots of intelligent writing and design that makes it rise just above the old hack and slash books that we had earlier on in this series. This book can be broken down into a series of acts. So Act 1, you start with the choice of forest, hills, or across the lake Necros. Don't go there, instant death. And then you descend into the mine as you try to reach Fallow Dale before Castle Heather. And here you can rendezvous with King Heather himself to get him to give you his horn, which you're told is an essential item, but it's not. And he asks you to undertake a side mission, which is catching a saber-toothed tiger, which is a bit of fun, but a tough diversion. I'll put up the grid map here so you can see it. And now, in all the attempts of me trying to complete this book, I never once caught this tiger. So you don't need to do it, but put in the chat comments what on earth you get from it, because I don't know. I never caught him. It's pure luck. It's all dice roll. So you roll a die to determine the direction of your hunting party, and then you roll another one to determine the direction of the tiger. Yeah, I never managed to do it, but it'd be interesting to see if anybody did. Act 2, you cross the Pikestaff Plain, I think it's called, Pikestaff Plain, and then there's a bushfire you have to try and avoid, followed by a ravine or river part which hides one of the most hardest to locate essential items in the book, or in almost any book. Again, if you know, then you know the one I'm talking about. From here you can visit Marsh Vial that we talked about, another lethal section, but it's possible to be given the solution to surviving the marsh by talking to someone before you go in. So at least you get a little saving grace if you meet the right person. They will direct you and give you some guidance to avoid all those instant deaths, of which there's probably about eight of them in that bog, that marsh. Act 3, you enter the snow-capped mountain range of Krill Garnash, Morgana's domain. And with all these tricky sections like the Affin Forest with its elves and the mines, which are very disorientating even if you do map it, and the river, all this makes for a tough path to follow. So yeah, it's a tricky book. There's lots of testing of skill and luck. Failure will almost certainly kill you. And there's 2 stages where your provisions are reduced to +3 stamina instead of +4. So though, another thing that can make it a little bit tougher. The essential horn of Heather is actually useless and makes no difference to your eventual success, so you don't need to worry all about King Heather and his so-called horn. There is a genuine sense of voyage and discovery as you pass through all the different areas that were only known to you by name and reputation previously. Masks of Mayhem has excellent design, but it's so hard that more times you play it means the more times you can obviously find ways of dying. And I really like Waterfield's description and the effort he puts into creating a believable world to explore. A great effort in this book is the imaginative creature design as well, unusual and intriguing characters that you're likely to meet, like the Blackhearts, the Spriggan, the Ice Hulk. And all these add to the idea that Cool and Alancia have their own kind of distinct races and species, which makes Cool seem very different from Alancia and expands again on that world of Titan quite nicely. And if you sum all that up, I'll give this book a very strong 7 out of 10. Yeah, 7 out of 10. It's a good one. It's a really good entry, very tough and quite frustrating. Yeah, so that's the review. I hope you liked it. It's a good, strong book, and I recommend it. If you did like the review, just give it a thumbs up, or maybe share it with someone who else might like to see this review, and maybe put a comment in. Tell me what you liked about the book, what you didn't like. The next book we're going to review is book 24, which is Creature of Havoc. And I'm going to go all out in that one because that's my fave. In my opinion, that is the best book, not just Steve Jackson's because that's his solo effort, his final book for this series as well. He wrote other ones for Scholastic, but for the Greenspine Puffin books, this was his last one, which is a shame. But yeah, I'm going to go all out on that one. That's going to be a good review. So catch me in that one, and take care in the meantime. See you then.